Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Here we have a Volkswagen Golf, but this ain't no normal Golf, as you may be able to tell by the bumpers. It's a Golf R. So we have had this car in now for a couple of months. It came in on the back of a tow truck. It actually still ran. The customer hadn't got a clue what had gone wrong with it, but apparently he was batting on at a fair lick, all of 70 mile an hour, and suddenly had a severe misfire, and then it just stopped. But when they pulled up with a tow truck, it actually fired up, although it did have a severe misfire. It didn't smoke or anything, but we suspected a bent valve, hit the rev limiter, whatever, I don't know. But so we had this discussion with him. We were going to take the cylinder head off, but having spoke to the customer, he quite fancied the idea of forging the bottom end. This car is tuned. What the map's like, we haven't got a clue yet, but it apparently is about 340 horsepower, something like that. It's had a few mods to it. Under the bonnet, it's got air filter and a few bits. It's got a big intercooler on it. Apparently a slightly different turbo at the beginning, he thought, but he wasn't too sure. He's been going down the dual carriageway and ended up with this misfire. So we had a chat with him. He sort of liked the idea of forging it, but obviously there's a big difference in taking the cylinder head off, investigating what the problem is. If it's a bent valve, go through the head. Big difference in that and changing the internals of the engine. Although you can do it in situ, I did say to him, look, if it's bent a valve, it's had contact with the piston, if we're going to get involved with putting the head back on, then really we'd like to do it properly. So we'd like to have the pistons rods out, have a look at the crank bearings and all this. The car's done sort of 80-odd thousand miles anyway, so we ended up pulling the engine out, took the cylinder head off, and sure enough, it must have had I think it had a failed injector, and it's melted a piston. This is what we found. It's you see it's melted the side of the piston here, and obviously the debris, the sort of excess aluminium has gone up, clogged the valve and bent a valve, and that's where your misfire came from. Fortunately, it didn't damage a bore too much. Had a couple of scores in it, which, if you were sort of doing a Mickey Mouse build and doing it yourself, you could probably get away with it with just a deglaze and a set of rings, and hope to God it didn't use oil, but that's certainly not what we're going to do. So we did a rebore on it, went through the cylinder head, sort of modified the ports very slightly in the head, did the three-face cut on the valve seats, kept the original valves, didn't want to sort of stretch to the Supertech ones, but kept the standard cams, sent the turbo off to our guy. He's checked it out and said that this was actually a Garrett turbo on this, which was a really good turbo, and apparently not many of these had that. We've had that modified and hybrided with a billet front wheel, etc. So the turbo's good for about 480 horsepower. So with the sort of head work, needs a set of cams, and it'll be good for sort of up that horsepower, obviously with a few bolt-on goodies, different injectors, etc. We've put forged pocketed pistons in this, H-section com rods, obviously competition bearings, balanced the crank assembly and all the engine components as we normally do. And now he's back together. Just have a little look at the engine bay. I do like these Golf Rs. I like the fact that they're pretty subtly just a Golf really, but not. With the DSG box, they're a hell of a bit of kit to drive. They go like a scalded cat. So yeah, as you can see, we've got the different air filter on there. A few bits. We've done away with the air conditioning pump. Put a different belt on there. So we've sort of done away with that and the piping. While we had the engine out, we've changed all the brake lines. A few other bits. Obviously the turbo's back there, you can't see that, but yeah, a few little bits on there we've had to change, but yeah, there we go. He's got a fully forged engine, all balanced and what have you. Got the car running today, runs like a dream. We had to plug it into the computer. Obviously we had a load of faults come up from the problems with the previous engine. A few little niggles and back to running perfect. So we're going to give this a good sort of run before he picks it up. We've obviously, because we've changed the brake pipes, we're going to have to bleed the brake system again. Now the engine's running. Give you a little update to how that goes, but at the minute it's yeah, it sounds lovely. I'm sure he's very excited to get it back. Whatever car you've got, guys, we've done this on plenty of vehicles. We seems to be a thing to do with the forging the bottom ends now on these sort of Volkswagens, the TFSI engines, like all we've done a Seat Cooper R recently, and you know, that type of engine. That seems to be what they do. If you want this done, guys, or anything like this, or you've got any comments to put below, any questions you want answering, feel free to write a comment there, and I'll do my best to answer you as quick as I can. Yeah, and if you wanted your engine forged or something, whatever you want done to it, whether it be a full build or just repairs, whatever, just give us a shout. Feel free to comment or give us a ring. If you have a look on our website or our Facebook page, you'll see you get our details there. We've got email address and phone number. But yeah, feel free to give us a shout, guys. But, we'll give you an update on this as soon as we've sort of done a couple of miles and made sure everything's tickety-boo. Got it on the ramp again, had a look underneath, and yeah, jobs are good and ready to go. I'll speak to you soon, guys. Take care.